So I'm going to pass it over to the rest of the Masisi crew, and we're just going to go down, and everybody can introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Raki, aka Joplin Warner, the one and only, aka Devil's Duo.
Hello, my name is Rashley, but I go by Lady Narcissus. Hi, y'all.
I'm Esir, aka Foreseer, aka Devil's Duo. Hey, y'all.
Hey, I'm Brock Lee, the Swamp Fairy of Miami. Mwah.
I'm Vanessa, Mental Gardens, the hands behind Mental Gardens.
I'm Sunny, Apex Twink. I am Masisi's photographer.
And we got some Masisi family up in here too. We're gonna let them introduce themselves as well.
Hello, my name is Angela Rio. I'm a filmmaker and videographer, and I've been filming all of these beautiful people tonight.
Hi, I'm June Vanette. I am also a filmmaker and actor, and I'm very excited to be here.
Hi, my name's Molly Cat. I'm a producer and engineer, and I'm here to support, and I'm blessed by all these beautiful people out here.
But yeah, thanks so much for joining us, guys. All of you killed it. I mean, I think I've seen pretty much all of you like perform live, so seeing you here is also just like amazing as well. I love all of y'all's sound. And yeah, just to start off, I'm super excited about the launch of Masisi Radio. And I also just wanted to ask you guys about where the idea for Masisi came about and kind of how your experience growing up in Miami influenced that, and yeah, just kind of the origin of that.
So I'm not from Miami. I'm a proud citizen and resident of Palm Beach County, originally from Lake Worth, Florida. I moved out to Miami right after I graduated high school. So like 2013, I started coming out to Art Basel. This is before like it became a thing. So yeah, I got super inspired because where I'm from, we don't have nothing like this going on. It's very like, there's art, but it was relegated to the fine art spaces of the art industry, which is mutually exclusive to folks that can afford those kind of disciplines, and folks that have art disciplines outside of white rich folks buying it was not considered art. So it was really beautiful as someone just graduating high school, to see like, oh wow, there's life in art and music. And I was just like in a culture shock and just fell in love with that. So that's what brought me to Miami. Through that, like I kind of started to see what the nightlife landscape was, and like tried my best like to be a part of the community that was currently going on then, but it was very gatekeepy then. It was a completely different Miami than what we had now. There was no electronic music scene that was going on. 3 Points was like barely doing events. Club Space, of course, was existing, but none of what we're experiencing now happening in Miami didn't exist when I was 18, 19. So it had me just think like, yo, I'm gonna fill in my space. So I started to come out here more and more, and then I ended up finding my art family around the age of like 2021, which was with I'm one of the original members and founders of FemPower. So my best friend was the founder of FemPower. So through that, we were both just two Black Caribbean kids from South Florida. She's originally from Pembroke Pines and went to school out in Doral. So her being a Dominican girl, she was just like, yo, like I really don't feel seen in a lot of these spaces, a lot of these white Latino spaces that exist in Miami. And us also moving throughout, finding our own queerness, exploring our sexuality. There wasn't too many spaces that existed for Black queer people wanting to do that, let alone in the intersection of art and activism. So yeah, I started to think about my own experiences, and I grew up visibly queer my entire life. I never really needed to come out. I've always been a flamboyant character, a flamboyant queer. So yeah, I got called Masisi a lot growing up. It was something I was bullied, actually. So I took that and I wanted to run with it. Masisi's phonetically spelled is Ma in the CC, and in translation is a masculine person that exhibits feminine qualities, the CC in it. So yeah, I wanted to kind of, in the vein that Black folks were reclaiming the N-word, I wanted to reclaim my own trauma, and yeah, that's how Masisi was birthed.
Wow, it's really beautiful. It's super important too that you're providing that space in Miami, and I must have been like just seeing that evolve over time, over a period of like, I don't know, 10 years almost. It must have been it must have changed a lot since you first moved down here. So it's really like empowering to hear too, because who knows like what more progress we can do in the future. And you mentioned FemPower, so I also wanted to ask you just how important like collaborations with other organizations and other community members is to growing as a collective, and how that also contributes to just connecting the community more within Masisi.
I think in general we're all meant, like, it's not by coincidence that we're in each other's lives. I think everything is intentional. I think the universe, whether you believe in God or whomever you pray to, that things don't align without intention. We're here to be mirrors for each other, to really reveal either each other's secrets, to reveal each other's talents, to reveal each other's truths. So I think collaboration is a beautiful thing, because art is meant to be a collaborative project. It's only lives in these silos because it works for the workforce to divide people into getting them to do what you want them to do. When people meet each other and they exchange stories and they exchange ideas, you can only get liberated from that, because now we know collectively. And also our art is informed by it, because perspective is now being shared. So it only just expands or informs the knowledge that you're trying to provide through your art.
And since Masisi is rooted in Afro-Caribbean culture, I also wanted to ask you how you go about booking the sound for your shows, and kind of what makes an artist stand out and noticed by Masisi.
So for me, like, I'm half Haitian, half African American. So Masisi for me is rooted in a diasporic conversation, because I feel like the leading thing is blackness. Blackness isn't inherently one thing. It is, at the root of it is Africanness. And how I see the African consciousness is that it's everything all in once. So it can be as Caribbean, it could be as American, in terms of like all dance music is coming from African American disciplines, but at the root of it is the African drums. So for me, what I'm attracted to when I'm looking at talent and people that I want to build with is, what is your unique interpretation on that sound, on black noise?
Wow. And also with the launch of Masisi Radio, how is the platform of a radio gonna be a different like avenue for the community to connect with Masisi? And how are you gonna use that platform to just be another community resource?
I think for me, like, y'all already know our names. Y'all already know how we look. Like, any space that we end up filling, we end up kind of becoming the spectacles in those space. People honestly are very attracted to us, but I think for the most part, people get stopped at the surface and they don't really get to know us intimately. So I see the radio being an avenue for folks to intimately be in conversation with us, intimately understand our growth as artists. We're just using music as a navigation. Some of the program will be through talk as well. So for me, I think it will give the community the opportunity to provide depth within their work, because on the surface you're hearing just beats and ballads and stuff, but like folks are using the last 2 pennies that they got in order to even come down south. People are using other people's computers to download these tracks, or don't even have the opportunity to even touch CDJs or touch the XDJs. So for me, it's giving people the opportunity to have resources and also the visual platform to see themselves grow.
And it's interesting that you mentioned, how hard it is, because we all know how hard it is financially here in Miami, like especially currently. And a lot of more people, that have been on the station have also talked about it, other collectives. So how hard is it to maintain financial stability as like an independent collective? And if you can share like any experiences with outside funding or any like grants that would be like good resources for other collectives.
So for me, I think the difference that I've been able to really make when figuring out resources for Masisi is I came into it and navigating it as an artist. I think a lot of people kind of, when it comes to music, they only see it, at least within the art world, they only see music as like a form of entertainment, not really as a cultural production or as an artistic expression. So I think the biggest hurdle that a lot of artists globally, let alone artists in Miami, have to get over is limiting themselves as musicians and not seeing it as like, no, I use music as a form of communication as an art medium. So I think that kind of is what makes Masisi separate. Our visual identity is an art form. The way we communicate through music is an art form. The intentionality and the story around Masisi is an art form. So that has been able to resonate beyond Miami. I've been able to take this to New Orleans. I've been able to take this to other Black collectives globally because it's being recognized, because consciously we're all going through the same exact thing. I've had conversations with Black collectives in Brazil that are going through the exact same situations that we're having here in Miami. And I think our way, my CC's way, has been able to go through the art institutions in order to get grants, collaborations, but our story has allowed for that to happen. So I think once Miami musicians find the depth within their work, they'll be able to communicate it in a way that, sadly, if you're trying to get money from white people, from these institutions, you're going to have to figure out a language to communicate your work that they see beyond it being, oh, this person's just bringing their CDJs, or hell, they would force you to bring CDJs, speakers, and all these things because they're expecting you to just be Ruben's party planning, when like, no, like I am pulling from multiple different genre disciplines that are informed by history. And that's what art is. Is a form of communications that's being informed by a collective history that can be traced back to. So I think once musicians and artists really dig into the story of their work and they learn that, no, I'm a vessel, and there's a connection that is being made, things will start to make sense, and then people with quote-unquote resources will see how you can be plugged and played within that. But I think the bigger thing that I want to communicate is not to rely on institutions to give you money, but really building community power and communal mutual aid, because you're going to always then be at the whim of some white man giving you money when your community has enough money to provide what they need from you.
And that actually brings me to a related question, which is gentrification in Miami and how venues in areas like Little River and Little Haiti, how that area is kind of being gentrified right now, and how that has led to difficulty in maintaining like stable connections to venues and venue owners. So, and also like if anybody else wants to jump into about that. But yeah, how has that affected your ability to just find consistent venues and also to just make your presence be constant in Miami?
So that's been honestly the biggest hurdle when it comes to doing Masisi these past 5 years. We've been essentially, and I think that's why I have a relationship at least with the houses community here in Miami, because nobody wants to be homeless. You don't have the resources in order to get what you need to sustain yourself. So I think especially my relationship to Miami is I am a guest. I've just been adopted by the city of Miami, which I'm thankful for. But for me, like, in order to really be a community member, you need to always remember that you're a guest in somebody else's home. So acting like that, and I think that's where a lot of the disconnect when it comes to folks who aren't members of the Little Haiti community, because even how Little River is even established, those are intentional borders and redlining that takes away power from the original community that was living there. So my Little Haiti has now, and even Wynwood didn't look like what it is currently. When I got here, it was nothing but museums in Wynwood. Now it's the new South Beach. It was an event to come to Wynwood and go to Art Walk every weekend and actually have regular everyday people engage with art, and that does not exist currently. So because money came into it, opposed to the love of trying to share your work. So that's
as someone who has been these past years like going through like housing situations and like homelessness and not having a place to call home on my own, it does break my heart that I've been living in Miami since I was 8. I lived in Biscayne, Little Haiti, Alapata, like in Miami. Like I've been in Miami since I was a kid, and now like even if I want to go get a place in Little Haiti, even if I want to go get a place in North Miami, even if I want to go get a place anywhere else, there's no space for me because white people, let's be for real, they're taking everything and they're making it their own because they know like they have the money to make things cheaper for themselves but make things more harder for us. And it's sad because it's like, why do I have to not live in Miami when I love Miami? Like, this is my second home outside of Haiti. This is my second home. And I'm just like, it's heartbreaking that I can't even find housing for myself, or I have other friends that's also going through like housing situations and we can't even afford to have a $500 efficiency. That shit don't exist. Sorry, that doesn't exist anymore. I'm so sorry, y'all, for cursing. That does not exist anymore. And it's so heartbreaking because it's just like, where are we gonna go? They're just gonna keep kicking us out until we have nothing. And then if we live in a tent, we're going to jail because they don't want us to be homeless in the street. They don't want us to be this. They don't want us to be that. And it's like, we have to understand that gentrification has done nothing good for Black or brown people. It has never done nothing good, and we're tired of it. And we're tired of, having to suffer to survive. And it's heartbreaking because we should be able to have our cute little houses as queer people and not be in the street, not worry about where we're going to sleep, where we're going to eat, and it's heartbreaking that some of these spaces that we're going to book that, let's say Wynwood, or these spaces we're looking at it like, oh, this used to be Overtown. Now these white people is running this. They don't want to pay us to play here. They don't want to pay us to do art, but they're taking everything from us. They see that we're creative. And next you know, boom, in New York, they're using the same ideas that we had, but because they have the money, they're able to do it. And I'm always going to say gentrification is the worst thing that could ever happen to a Black space. And I wish it would stop because, we're trying to make something of ourselves. And if you are going to take our space, at least pay us to be able to survive, like at least do more. But yeah, just gentrification is not a good thing and we don't love it and we don't support it, period.
Yeah.
I think it's also kind of funny, like how, how people were saying like, oh, like Miami's like locals, like Miami locals are like the rudest. There's a reason why we're rude. You guys prevented us and limited us to like have our own space. I've lived in Miami ever since I was like a little kid, you feel me? So it's like seeing locals getting kicked out, like getting like locals not really doing what they want to do. Like, for example, like let's say if I want to throw a party, right? I can't even do that because I don't have the funds to do that anymore. People from New York have the funds to do that. They're coming here to take our space and then expect us to be sweet. It's like you guys are preventing us from showing our true talent because at the end of the day, people from Florida are one of the most talented individuals you could ever meet. I haven't met any Miami local that isn't talented. People from New York, people from California are coming down here, taking our spaces, raising our prices, and expect us to be sweet. That's not how things work. So I just think it's like really funny. I just think it's really hilarious how we're constantly getting like the back burner and they expect us to be sweet when it's just like, this is our home. This is our space. This is our money. This is what we're providing for people who live here to have fun, but we can't even do that anymore. So yeah, it's kind of.
And honestly, I blame the city of Miami for that because we are our cultural production, let alone our housing and neighborhoods, are up for sale for the highest dollar. So when you're putting people who are in survival mode in those positions, you're tricking them and you're manipulating them off of their own survival tactic, and you're cheating them out of the best deal. Like, I don't think the issue for me isn't totally gentrification, because I think all people want better conditions. People want to see their community evolve and grow, but the evil of gentrification, that it leaves out the people who are originally from this community in deciding what does evolution look like. So when you take out the actual cultural producers, Miami's a historically black city. Bahamians built this city. Haitian people created an area. Even then, when you think of like when people even talk about Miami, any football game, y'all, they bring up Trick and Trina every 2 seconds. People are leaving it as if like those are the only people that have like dedicated or have created some type of cultural identity. They're a wealth of, like Sunny said, some of the most creative people in the world are coming out of the Florida water, and they're being washed away in order to survive. People are not leaving because they want to. They're being met with conditions that are not sustaining them. And if we continue to sell our city for the highest dollar, we already know that rich people don't have taste. It is going to be the same replica of that, of a city that is vapid and soulless, because the people that actually provide the most can't afford to be here.
That reminds me of I went to New York like recently, the last year over the summer, and do you guys know that spot X Pizza? That does kind of a similar format, like live radio broadcast. But I was talking to the owner because I noticed that their operating hours like weren't the same anymore, and they basically said that, you know, a bunch of white people from Europe were like buying out the whole block, and that the place was going to be shut down by the end of the year. So it's affecting like everywhere, especially, you know, the more marginalized communities of like New York and Miami and like all over the world.
And you got to think about it. A lot
of these urban like jungles were like, that's why the suburbs even exist. They didn't want to live
amongst black and brown people. Black people could only afford to live in the city. It was an attractive place. Y'all hear the stories of what Miami used to be like and sound like in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. They moved out to the Gables. It's a reason why Miami University is over here and not where MDC is. So to see folks see the value now, after for decades calling these places slums, people were deathly afraid to even go into Wynwood at a point. And now they're expanding Wynwood and taking away Alapata and calling it West Wynwood. So there's signs already put up that they're turning that into the new art district. And then so in general, like, you demonize and you like put these very like just like disgusting stereotypes onto people who are just trying to make it, but then you take their homes too.
People doing nothing with art.
How many art districts when there ain't no art in them?
Hello.
Just a district at this point. Exactly. A bar crawl.
Not a bar crawl. Yeah, I feel like my 2 cents behind it, I feel there's just a lot of displacement that comes along with gentrification. And they always say that, yeah, gentrification is like trying to make an area better, but it's just the whole Make America Great Again ploy, where they're literally making it great by displacing and getting rid of the actual culture, and they just want to rewrite history over and over again. And for me, being the swamp fairy, I feel like it goes in tandem with nature, and then you see a lot of the talk around local parks and a lot of the conservation areas that they're just like stripping away from all the resources, and it's literally disgusting. Makes my skin crawl and my stomach turn. 'Cause yeah, nature is reactive, so you see how it responds, and us as people are somewhat no different from nature, you know, like we're all in it together. So I don't know, I feel like people just need to listen to nature.
Yeah, I agree with that point too, that people should get more in touch with nature. And I think, you know, capitalism and just like the structure of modern day society has all just like ripped us apart from that. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And kind of just moving a little bit forward with the conversation, I wanted to like build off of the financial hardship that we're all kind of experiencing right now in Miami, and how that also affects, like, you know, just expenses for going out and buying tickets to shows. How do you guys measure success apart from just people turning up at your shows? Like, is there a certain thing that you look for or a certain impact with every show that you have?
So in general, I think Black folks have always had to find alternative markers of success, because finances sadly won't ever be that. If we always did, like, it's not like Black people hold the most wealth in the richest country in the world. So for us, I think it's always been about authenticity. If we were able to actually execute what the idea, like, I think that's what, honestly, if I don't own nothing in this world, I know that I have phenomenal ideas, and I know I have the work ethic and the community behind me to actually turn thoughts into things. So I think that's where the success really is a marker for me, is that there was an idea that was birthed, it was executed at its best, and the turnout was great. If we can make it to 0 and not be in the negative, we tour. We tour and everybody got paid. Yeah, we make no profit, but we're not in the negatives. That is fine. But in general, like, if we can walk away knowing that all these Black queer people and Black trans people, even if they're houseless or housed, out or not out, that they were able to make a memory that is going to last them a lifetime in a state that is already experiencing Project 25, we were successful.
Yeah, I would like to say, just as another little tidbit, I feel like the success that Masisi has brought to the city is just like all right here on the couch. Like, every single last one of these individuals has changed my life. Masisi changed my life, being one of the first alternative parties I've been to in Miami. I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale, so not too far of a travel, but it's definitely a different scene. Definitely more suburban, more lax, more chill. But yeah, I always thank Masisi for everything, because, you know, I didn't always look like this. I feel like you go to a Masisi party and then it just reawakens you to just different ways of thinking, different people, and just a whole community that you probably didn't even realize you had in front of you, because we're so scared and sheltered as queer people to not want to go outside and express ourselves. And I will be like the martyr to like be like, no, I'm here. Like,
and I feel like the most important and the most successful thing that we all share in common is love. I feel like we might not have the financial, you know, stability, we might not have this or that, but I feel like our love for art, our love for community, our love for ourselves, and just like being able to share that. Like, you can tell when you come to a Masisi event, or when you link up with us, or when you talk to us, you could tell that we all have love. And not even that too, we are very graceful people. I feel like when people see us and they're like, oh, I'm intimidated and da-da-da, and then when they start talking to us, they're like, oh, you're actually really sweet, you're actually really nice. It's like, yeah, we are sweet, yeah, we are nice. We might be giving a certain look
that gives, you can't approach us, but we are very approachable because we're carrying love with us, and we're open to giving that love to other people. And that's why I personally feel like Masisi and just what we do will always be successful in a way, whether it takes long or, you know, it happens quickly for us, because we carry so much love and so much talent, and that talent is like fueled with the love that we all have within our hearts. So I feel like that's our success personally.
And I think another like marker of success I've been able to see is like, I have queer Haitians in Haiti telling me that Masisi is changing their lives. So to be able to be a openly loud queer Haitian in America and have people who live in an island that it is a death sentence for you to be a queer person, telling me that, wow, they would never even think that they would see the day that Haitian people would have a party called Masisi and be openly queer. The success has already been made.
The answer is my next question that I was going to ask you guys about what impact you feel like you've been making so far and what you hope to see for the future. But if anybody wants to expand on that anymore.
Well, Masisi for me is authenticity, like it was said. I feel like all of us are very distinct. We have qualities about us that are just supernatural. Like we just carry ourselves so like profoundly. Like we walk the way we talk, like everything. It just all comes together, and like we said, like we really manifested each other. Like we are meant to be in each other's lives. Like we're growing together, we're evolving together. It's all a process, and I feel like this is only the beginning.
So like me, like I'm a trans man. Like I'm a Haitian trans man. Yeah, what? Surprise! Surprise! But you know, like kind of just like growing up and kind of dealing with Haitian parents who don't even accept you for being fucking, excuse me, like being, you know, queer, let alone trans, was something that I had to go through by myself. Never a day in my life would I have ever thought that I would meet another Haitian trans person until I started going to Masisi. So seeing that made me more comfortable with myself, and it made me more graceful of being who I am. And that's why I hold so much gratitude when I talk about Masisi. Me even being a part of it right now is something that I never thought would even happen. You know what I mean? So like being in this community, seeing other Haitian trans people, seeing other Haitian queer people just being themselves is something that I never thought I would see until recently. And it's something that I don't really talk about because it's like, oh, you know what I mean? But it's just like, I think about it a lot. It's really nice to see that as a Haitian trans person. You know, so it's a journey that I went through alone. Now I feel like I'm not alone anymore. So it's a beautiful thing, personally.
And we're inspiring like the younger generation who is watching us. I feel like answering that question you asked, like we're inspiring them to see like, oh, they already doing it, so why can't I do it? Like I'm gonna do it, because I looked up to Akaya before I even met Akaya, and I'm like, there's another queer Haitian person just like me. Akaya is the first Haitian queer person I met outside of me. Like this was before me and Sunny ever linked up, all of that. Like I'm telling you, like, and I'm 23, so seeing Akaya doing it, seeing Terrell, seeing all these people who's Caribbean, like who's literally from the island, you will get stoned for even dressing a certain way, for even thinking a certain way, for even being any form of queerness. To see that this is happening, and we all are different ages. Some of us are younger than each other, some of us are older than each other, and we're still inspiring each other. So of course whoever is watching us that's younger than us, way younger than us, they're gonna be like, okay, let's do a not another Masisi, but let's do our own thing, and let's try to make it more open. What can we do to make it more inspiring for the next generation and the next generation? And that's how it should be. If you're gonna do something outside the box, if you're gonna do something that you know you might quote unquote lose your life for, or quote unquote lose something for, make sure you stand on it, and just know that are people watching you that's gonna want to be a part of it or want to step up and do more. So yeah,
exactly that.
Yeah, I also think Mental Gardens started in Fort Lauderdale, and I actually started doing that when I was like 15, 16. And I knew quickly that it's all I wanted to do. But it felt like I never had really like a community until I started coming out, and then Masisi was like, oh my God, where was everybody when I was like in my lair just cooking things on my own? I always felt so isolated. So Masisi really is just community, decompression. And also I'm very used to selling a lot in white spaces, especially out here, is just where the money's at. And so being able to, just pop up a table and have the community invest in me, have a space for that, is really special. It's just such a decompressor because there's so much isolation that is felt out here. I also feel like the immigrant experience is so strong. And when people emigrate, from their home countries where community is just like going outside, like it's so easy to make friends. It's easy to like meet people. They may not be queer, but it like the experience here is so isolating.
Mm-hmm.
No, and it's like even in high school, it's so segregated and so separate. And so, the city really, really, really needs Masisi. It's an incredibly special thing. And I love how you just stepped in and took initiative in that. Yeah, it's super inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah, and another, I guess, reason for gratitude with Masisi, I met my queer mother, Flame Princess, Sophie, I love you. I met her at my first Masisi party. I also got to watch Tamaguchi, love you too, play their little performance. And you just never know what you're going to run into, who you're going to meet. And I've known these people now for 6-7 years, and to still call them family just because I showed up at some party and wanted to dance around and have fun, like, it's just simple things like that about making yourself vulnerable or visible that can really change your life.
No, people in Miami really dance.
Yeah.
Like really, you can tell we need that space. You can tell we have been waiting for that party. Like, damn.
And we'll be all pent up. There's just so much energy and expression within you, and you just feel like you're going to explode if you don't go to a party. Literally,
when we went to... Sorry to the NOLA girls. We love you guys down. You guys are amazing. You guys are beautiful. We love you. But I'm not going to lie. When we went to NOLA, me and Akaya was the only ones dancing for real. We were the only ones really giving it to the girls, and we brought that energy. Then the girls was like, oh, that's how y'all doing it over there? So we're going to dance too. And not even that too. When Akaya started playing, they play in a slower pace, but when Akaya started playing, I'm used to father playing. Like, I know the vibe they're going to give. And I told him, I'm like, you're going to literally turn this up. And that's exactly what Akaya did. And I was standing right beside him, shaking my butt, doing my do, sticking and rolling it. And that is just, it just shows, like, being from down here, in a way, like, when we're in a space, we don't really judge because we're like, we want to see you dance. We want to hype you up. We want to dance with you. Whether we look crazy or not, like, we're going to do what we need to do to make sure we came here to have fun. We came here to be free. And like, I feel like just knowing that no matter where we go, you can just tell we're from Florida because we're very much different from everybody else. Ain't nobody dancing like us. Ain't nobody, I'm not trying to, throw shade on nobody, I promise. But I'm saying, like, nobody is really doing it like us, and I can see why everyone's trying to take everything from us. But you can't copy and paste. No, we're the original. You can't outdo the original.
Exactly. You cannot take an experience. Masisi is an experience, not just in a collective.
A lifetime experience at it.
The girls want to cosplay, but that's about it.
And in general, like, I think we're all improvements on a design. Like, the Masisi that I knew and that I started is always shifting and changing. And with all of these new beautiful additions to the family, I think it's a new era personally for me. And that's how I see the radio. It's just a new era of, we got beautiful, nice, new cunts in the building that are bringing something very unique and very needed into the cultural landscape, not just in Florida, because I have traveled. it is the same everywhere. We are bringing something very beautiful that the world, I think, will appreciate. We may not be able to get those flowers in our lifetime currently. I would never have thought that that I'm seeing people, two queer Haitians in a relationship. I got one young ass Haitian right now that is living a very similar story that, I'm just proud to be alive for. That, like I said, we're improvement on a design. And I'm excited to see where our flowers blossom to.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for sharing your experiences. I think there's so much power in the community that you're building, and it goes beyond just Miami. It's something ancestral and something that carries just so much history. So thank you guys so much for sharing that. And I also, just moving forward, wanted to ask you guys about the launch of Masisi Radio and the date for that, and who's going to be playing, and what you're most excited about.
Yes, so everyone that y'all have heard tonight will be on Masisi Radio. We are launching it this Saturday with our first live broadcast in collaboration with Studio Monkey and Worldwide FM. That's where the residency will be, at least the online residency will be powered through. Right now, like I said, our roots are stretching far and wide. So our actual radio residency is based in London. So everything that we'll be playing and that we'll be putting to the world is literally going to be echoing around the world and beyond what Miami is offering us. I think what I've been able to kind of remind myself is that I'm not my environment. Just because my environment may not have the things that I need, that's fine, because I can find it. I just need to sleep here. So it's been nice to know that just to even answer the question from prior, if you're looking for resources, the resources may not be where you're living. The internet exists and you can get these resources. I found this grant off of Mutuals. A mutual posted this, Coffin Tech specifically posted this in their stories, and I applied for it, and out of hundreds of people I was picked. And they did this grant in Taiwan, in Nigeria, in South America, and they chose us
Miami.
Specifically. So it's been nice to know that the world may not always be able to give you your flowers, but someone is always watching. So you just need to be consistent and authentic, because those that hear you will hear you and provide for you. So that's what we're doing with this radio. That's what Lady Narcissus is going to do, what Rocky and the Devil Duo crew will do, what Seer do, what the Mental Gardens crew would do. And we're going to do that through not just music, but also through film with Rio and June in the Masisi Cinema Club. And as well as like I said, I want to see conversations. Miami is a very vastly beautiful place. It's the biggest county in Florida. So I've been blessed enough to be a part of so many different communities in Miami that for me, it's centralizing them all and putting them to paper.
And not even just that too, there are people who are here who is trying to do a lot of stuff for people of color. We have Sunny here, who's an amazing photographer. He wants to take pictures of black and brown people, so don't say there's no photographers who's here for y'all. There's, everyone here, we're trying to do stuff for black and brown people. Not only, of course, we have to be honest, white people do sometimes fund us a little bit more, but we are trying to do stuff mostly for black and brown people. So don't say that there's nothing for you, because look, we're here. We're telling you, come here, come celebrate with us. Saturday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Stay tuned, be there or be square. So, come support. Don't say we don't got nothing for y'all. Stop complaining.
In the middle of Design District, they don't always like us there, but we are taking up beautiful space. And I'm fully thankful to my friends and family over at the Terrestrial Funk Record Shop that recently has opened their doors. So
in general, another person, another community member within the music scene that's going through all the same issues that we're going through, trying to find space to continue creating. So when the establishments don't give it to you, you take it and you make it.
All right, so they're going to be at the Terrestrial Funk Shop this Saturday, 2 to 7 p.m. Make sure you guys visit or also tune in online. And a quick shout out, we're also having Mental Gardens as a vendor, which was just decided today for our event at the end of this month at the Miami Roller Rink on September 25th, 8 to 11 p.m. Make sure y'all come out to that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you. I got it. Rocky has a closing note.
Yeah,
too.
go for it.
You want to say something?
I mean, thank y'all for having us. We really appreciate it. Masisi is taking over. This is only the beginning, like I said. Period.
And a little, period. I just feel like, Masisi, like we're literally, again, everything all at once and nothing at all, the poetic way. I feel like everybody here offers something differently. We're not in competition. We're in community. Mwah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Mental Gardens is going to have free goodie bags at the launch on the 14th. So pull up. It's going to be first come, first serve. Definitely want to adorn everybody and just have little memories through jewelry and metal. So yes, come for the free handmade jewelry.
And if you're old enough to drink, there'll be free drinks. So, we're bringing the party. We're bringing the favors. And, y'all just bring the good vibes and energy and presentness. Be present in the space because these moments are fleeting. We're just extending them.
Also, Saturday, if y'all want your pictures taken, I will be here. That's that.
Exactly. And everybody is for hire.
I think I said a lot. So let's give it to somebody else.
Sure. Club Cinema film coming soon. Everybody's gonna be in it, so
exactly.
Stay tuned. Venice, Europe, we're coming.
Sundance, we coming for you, boo.
That was like one of my favorite events that you guys did, the film screening at Data for Black Lives. Especially Siren, like to this day, that's one of the most like visually stunning and also just, like the subject matter too, like all of it beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to what you guys plan for the future with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We got some things in the work. Be on the lookout for the film screenings in Basel. So
you guys heard it here first. But yeah, thank you guys again for coming on. And this has been a special extended edition on a Tuesday of EKL. We are on usually every other Thursday, I should say. So make sure you tune in 2 weeks from now on Thursday. Thank you again to Masisi, the whole Masisi crew, for joining us today. And you can find them on Instagram at Masisi Official. Any last closing notes from anyone?
Thank you for inviting us and holding space for us. Like, it does not go unnoticed. Like, this is a legacy thing to be a part of. So I'm just happy that Masisi can say that we were able to take over and be a part of a beautiful history here. You have always provided space and a voice to the Miami underground scene. So continue to keep giving us space. And also shout out to Maka. She ain't here, but always shout out to Maka.
We love you.
The best of the best.
Thank you guys, and make sure you keep it locked into the voice.